Hey TPT Sellers, it's Mike Fuchigami. I'm the host of the Teacherpreneur channel. Today we're going to talk about the best free TPT Seller data tool on the market right now. There's an easy version, an epic version, and very soon there'll be an extreme version. In this video, I'm going to go over 4 things. I'm going to talk about the problem right now with TPT data. I'm going to show you what we can do with the easy solution, what we can do with the epic solution, and then I'm going to talk about what we'll be able to do with the extreme version. If you're brand new to the channel, I suggest you check out Masterclass number 5. I walk through why we need a free seller tool like this. If you haven't watched Masterclass number 6 yet, check it out. It's a little introduction to how data works. There's more to data than just saying I need 300 page views before I can make a business decision. So here's the problem. We need high quality data to be able to make high quality business decisions. This video is for TPT hamsters and above. If you're a TPT tadpole, you're just creating content, you're trying to figure out what works, and the data that you're able to see from the TPT website is probably good enough to give you a taste of where you're heading. But if you're a TPT hamster and above and you're churning away creating content, we need to be able to dive deep into our data to be able to say this product line is doing pretty well, considering that I just published it a month ago. So if I go to TPT and I click on product statistics, I can sort things by earnings. And I can see that my best-selling product right now has sold 1,500 times and has made $26,000 in its lifetime. The problem with this screen is I can't see the number of page views or product previews. I actually have to click on activity to be able to see that data. Even if I do that, I can't see the preview rate, which is the percentage of people who visit the page and decide to look at the preview. Now, to its credit, I can search and filter. So if I wanted to look for 6C's resources, if I filter my product stats list, it pulls up all the resources that have 6C's in the title. And I can sort this by earnings. I can see that my growth mindset mega bundle is my top selling resource. I can see it has a lifetime conversion rate of 1.7%. But again, I have to switch to the activity tab in order to see when it was posted, the number of page views, the number of product previews. Now, TPT does allow me to download an Excel file, actually a comma separated value file, a CSV. I like to save all of my CSVs in the same folder. Today's March 11th, and I'm going to just put as my note YouTube video, and I'm going to hit save. If you have Microsoft Excel, you'll get a lovely but confusing table that looks like this. And it's hard to use this table if you don't know what you're doing. So let's talk about an easy solution that I posted on TPT. You go to teacherspayteachers.com. You type my name, Mike Fuchigami, F-U-C-H-I. There I am, Mike Fuchigami. You go to the store and you scroll down. The very first featured item will always be this easy TPT Seller product stats CSV data tool. I know it'll always be the first one because this is the first resource that I published. It's my first freebie. And I know that the featured items, no matter what resources you choose to put in them, they sort in the order that you published. So if I go to the easy TPT product stats CSV, and if I click on download, I save this file to my computer, and then I open up the PDF, and it looks like this. Now the first link, I'm going to click on it, and it's going to ask me to make a copy of this Google document. So I'm going to do that. If I go back to the PDF, it explains that this product preview video will walk me through how to upload my data. I've already done step 1 to download my product stats CSV. Step 2 is to click the yellow cell. Step 3 is to paste in my data, going to File, Import, Upload, Browse. I find my CSV file. I click the down arrow beside Create New Spreadsheet so I can replace the data at the selected cell. Then I click the green Import Data button. The preview video will explain I have to delete this top row. I just click on the row number 3 and I right click, delete row. And so now I'm ready to play with the data. The first thing about the easy solution is that it lets us quickly see the difference between our paid resources and our free resources. All I do is I click on Show Paid, and then I click on the link that pops up, and this is showing me all of my paid resources sorted in order of earnings. So here's my top selling resource, which is my reading bundle. If I click on Show Free, and then click on the link that pops up, it now shows me all of my free resources. It's sorted in terms of page views. I'm going to go back to the Show Paid version, and I'll click on this link. Now, if I click on this plus button above the Q, I can see the exact same product stats CSV that we're used to. In fact, if I click on Show All Resources, and if I scroll to the top, this is the exact same product.csv that I downloaded from TPT. But when I click on this line and I collapse that hidden stuff, I'm able to see actionable data that will help me decide what to work on in my store. One of the most important things about this easy Google Sheet tool is that it allows me to sort the data and it color codes the data so I can quickly see what needs to be worked on. Let's click on Show Paid. So now this is showing me just my paid resources. Right now it's March 11th, 2024. And my sales are around $2,000 behind where they were last year at this time. But I do need to figure out what to work on. Masterclass number 5 explains the sales funnel, and Masterclass number 6 explains how to use the colors to figure out what to improve. When I look at data, I'm looking for patterns and outliers. So these are all my paid resources. If I want to sort them by page views, I can click on this triangle beside page views. If I click on sort Z to A, so reverse order, I can see that the resource with the most page views is this Reading Comprehension Strategy Bundle. And that makes sense to me because it's one of my oldest resources and I run paid ads to it. If I want to flip the sort order, I can click on the triangle and click sort A to Z. And now if I go back to the top, you can see red, the highest number is green. And if you go all the way down, the lowest numbers are red. And the gradient gives you an idea of scale. These answers with divided by 0, that's just because there are no page views. So I can see a bunch of resources that have 0 downloads and they have a couple of page views. But I also know by looking at these folder 3, folder 2, these are resources that are part of a larger bundle. Looking at data is only part of the story. You still need to figure out what it tells you about your store. I can sort it by the product preview rate. I can sort it by the wish list rate. And of course I can sort it by earnings. Here we go. I can tell by the shade of green that it's really only the first couple of resources that make the bulk of my sales. Now, I think one of the coolest things about the easy version is that it shows us earnings per week. And you can't see this from the TPT Seller dashboard. So I'm going to click this minus sign above the U. I'm going to move my mouse to the top of the screen. I'm going to click on this X that pops up just to get out of full screen mode. If I click on the minus sign above the U to hide some columns, I can see here it says earnings and age. Age is the age of the resource based on week. And we can calculate that based on today and the date that the resource was posted. I can see that my top selling resource, my reading bundle, has been around for 196 weeks, but my growth mindset mega bundle is older. It's 238 weeks, but it's made less money. One way that I can compare resources is by dividing the earnings by the age of the resource. If I click on this plus sign above the X, it opens up this hidden column that says earnings per week. So my reading bundle has made $136 per week. My growth mindset bundle, on the other hand, has made $63 per week. Well, let's sort it by earnings per week to see what my best resources are based on how they sell when I first publish them. I click the triangle beside earnings per week. I sort Z to A, and now it's sorted from Z to A, and I'm looking for outliers. A really interesting one to me is this 10X resource has only been around for 30 weeks, but it's doing better than some of my other resources. In fact, this resource here has only been around for 11 weeks, my new term, new unit resource, and it's earned around $11 per week, which is more than a bunch of older resources. Now, if I'm not exactly sure which resource that is, no problem. I click on the product name. I just Control-C to copy the product name. I go to TPT, and if I search that product name exactly, I'll be the #1 hit. And if I open this up, I can see, oh, it's this resource that we're talking about. This is the resource that's been earning $23 per week. I should try to create more resources that upsell to that bundle to see if I can help it along. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you've seen all that. So today, I'm super excited to show you the epic version that I just released. I made this epic solution because some of the people in the SEOTpreneur Pro community were talking about how their best-selling resource used to do great, but now it's not doing great anymore. But you can't tease that data out. The epic solution is good enough to let us see how our recent products are doing while we wait for the extreme solution to be published. But the epic solution is pretty epic. So here's how to get it for free. You go to freesellertool.com and I'll put a direct link in the video description. You scroll down, you click on download, you put in your email address with a link to your TPT store, you subscribe to the SEOTpreneur newsletter, you'll get an email that says keep this email to get the most recent version of the Google Sheet tool. Click the link below to confirm your subscription subscription to SEOTpreneur News, Google will ask you to make a copy of the latest version. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just click on TPT Product Stats CSV at the bottom. And just like before, you click on the yellow cell, you click on File, Import, Upload, Browse, find the CSV, click the drop-down menu to replace data at the selected cell. You hit Import Data. And then once it loads, you just right-click row number 3 and click Delete Row. I'm just going to go View Full Screen. And in Chrome, I'm going to go Zoom, and I'm going to click on this full screen button. This TPT Product Stats CSV is the exact same version on TPT. All I have to do is click the tab beside it where it says Epic TPT Product Stats CSV. And now the magic happens. By the way, for those of you who are using the data locker, I fixed the data locker so it can now accept 10 times as much data as it used to. If you ever got a file too large error, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. But if you use the data locker here, the Epic TPT Product Stats CSV tool will work for you as well. Why is the Epic Product Stats CSV tool a game changer? Let me show you. It looks similar, but now I can see some totals and averages for the data that's being shown on the table here. If I want to see just the paid resources, I unclick free. And now it's going to show me my paid resources. And you can see the colors changed a little bit. The colors changed based on the data that's shown on the screen. If I want to see just the free resources, I select free and I unselect paid. But for right now, I want to focus on my paid resources. Now, just like before, there are these plus buttons above the letters to expand and show more data. If I go to the right-hand side here, I can see the wish list and the download rate, as well as the age in weeks and the earnings per week. But the power of the Epic tool is that we can filter. There are these yellow cells here. If I type things in the yellow cells, it'll only show me those results. Let's say I want to filter by product name. I'm working on a new critical thinking text product line. I want to see how those resources are doing. So I'm going to type text puzzle because I know I have that in all of my resources. If I hit enter, this pulls up all the resources that have text puzzle in the product title. Now it's really important to know here that I'm using the product stats CSV that I downloaded from TPT, and that file shows me data for the entire lifespan of the product. I can see dark red is the oldest, dark green is the newest. If I want to sort it by earnings, so I can see just the earnings for my text puzzle line, I just click on the triangle here and I can click sort it down. It's green because the top numbers will be dark green. The Epic tool can only sort one column at a time, and I can see that the sort row turned dark green. If I try to sort it by another column as well, you'll see it turns red. And that's because it can't sort by two columns. So I'm just going to turn that back into the middle gray setting. I can see over here, it even says sorting by Y, and this is column Y, and it's sorting by earning. Right away, I can tell that half of my resources have made nothing, and the resource that's made a lot of money, relatively speaking, is the bundle. That makes sense. People look at a resource and then they upsell to the bundle. That's why it's so important to upsell to a bundle. Actually, no, they're probably going to the 10x resource, but at this time, you can only sort by one phrase. If I type 10x here, I can see here's my 10x bundle, and it's made $705. I'm going to clear the filter for the product name so I can see all of my paid resources again. I'm also going to clear the sort back to the neutral gray so that I'm not sorting by anything. Let's filter by product type to see what we can learn about our resources. Remember, the whole point of looking at data is to look for trends, to look for outliers, to help us decide what to improve on in our store. We're trying to follow the money. Now, if I want to look at just my bundles, I click on the yellow cell and I type bundle. And it says here, contains bundle. And now it just shows me my bundles. Let's say I want to look at the bundle with the best earnings per week. I'm just going to click between D to E to shrink this column. So here's earning. I'm going to click above AA to open up this hidden panel. Here's my earnings per week. I'm going to sort by earnings per week by clicking this green so I see the green ones at the top. And of my bundles, I can see my reading bundles has my best earnings per week. Now, I know that my reading bundle isn't selling anymore, and I don't really want to look at that in my data right now. So now, let's filter by the product publish date. Up here, it says min and max. I know that my reading bundle was published in the year 2000. I want to see resources that were published after 2000. So I'm going to put my minimum date as January 1st, 2021. And I'm going to hit enter. Now it's only showing me the resources that were published after 2021. If I want to double check that, I can sort it by posted, but you can see all the data disappeared because you can't have two sort settings. So I'm going to turn off the earnings per week by clicking on the gray neutral. And actually, I want to sort it by red so I see the oldest resources first. Yep, it's showing me resources between January 1st, 2021 to today. Let's say I only wanted to look at the resources last year. So I want to look at resources from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Nothing really changed there, but that's because I haven't published any bundles this year. If I get rid of this filter word bundles and I hit enter, well, these are the resources that I published last year. And if I get rid of December 31st as the maximum date, then it shows me all the way to today and I can see the resources I published this year. But my original question was to look at my bundles. So I'm going to type bundle in my filter settings. I don't want to sort it by the posted date, so I'm going to make that neutral. I do want to sort it by earnings per week. So of the bundles that I published last year to today, my best bundle is this 10X reading bundle, which has earned me $23 per week. What about compared to last year to date? So I'm going to type January 1st, 2022. I'm going to hit enter. Even if I look at the bundles I made in 2022, the 10X bundle is my top selling bundle based on both earnings, because I can tell it's dark green, and earnings per week. Cool feature of the Epic tool is at the top, I can see based on the data it's showing, my total earnings is $1,400. So the resources that I made between last year and now have only made me $1,400. I've tried to improve my bestseller. It is or it isn't working, but at a certain point, it might be that the market has moved on and it's just not a relevant resource from a pedagogical perspective. So I am tinkering with new product lines. I'm going to get rid of this filter for bundles. I'm looking at the resources I've made since January 2022. If I sort it by earnings, I can see here, okay, look, my ChatGPT bundle is doing well. My Who is Invisible resource has also done well, but not as well per week, based on the lifespan of the resource. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I create resources that upsell to my 10X bundle and my ChatGPT bundle. Let's look at how we can filter by page views to look at some gems that maybe we need to improve. I'm just going to reset this by deleting my filters. I'm going to click on the neutral sort and it's going to go back to this white line. So there's an idea in TPT land that if your resource has low page views, maybe you can fix it with keywords to try to get more traffic. Okay, well, I could sort it based on page views. And here are my worst resources based on page views. But one of the things I can do now is I can type a minimum number. So let's say I'm looking for resources that have had at least 10 page views and no more than 100 page views. So now I'm looking at this list of resources. And rather than sorting by page views, maybe I want to sort by my sold rate, my conversion rate. If I go to the top here, I now realize that, hey, this is interesting. This Media Literacy Internet Scams 3 has a pretty good sold rate, but only 93 page views. I'm just going to copy the product name. I'm going to go to Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm going to search for this product name. Here it is. And now I'm thinking, maybe if I did some keyword research, I could find some better keywords or a better product cover that would help me get better page views. Because the sold rate seems to be pretty good, if I get more page views by working on keywords, maybe I can increase my earnings. Let's see what we can figure out from our product previews and the product preview rate data. I'm going to reset the filters by clearing these yellow fields. Let's reset the sold rate. So now it's just showing me paid resource in the order of the product.csv. I have to click on this plus button above the T to show the hidden columns. Here are my product previews. And if I sort by product previews, I'm looking for outliers like, oh, that's interesting. My asking questions reading strategy has a lot of product previews. If I click on this line above G, I can see the product preview rate's pretty good as well. But the sold rate is horrible. Maybe I need to improve the product. People are looking at the product preview, but they're deciding not to buy it. Maybe I need to improve the product preview so it more clearly explains what's in the resource so people want to buy it. Let's just copy this resource. I'll search on TPT. Here's the resource. They're looking at the product preview, which shows you exactly what you get. So I don't know that there's much more that I can change there. But maybe they're not buying this resource because if they scroll down, they realize, oh, it's part of this 10X bundle or the reading bundle. So this is upselling to a different bundle. This is like part of the funnel leading to the higher selling bundles. Maybe you'll want to filter it and I just want to see resources that have less than 2,000. So I just put here for the maximum number of product previews is 2,000. And now it's showing me everything under 2,000. Or let's do it the other way. I only want to see the resources above 2,000. So I put 2,000 product previews in my minimum. And now I can see which products are getting the most previews. Oh, wow, this 10X resources. That's good to know. If I clear the filter, if I go to the product preview rate, if I want to see everything that has more than a 50% product preview rate, I just type 50%. I hit enter and see that's interesting. I'm going to sort these by earnings. Oh, I have two things that are sorted. I can see here I have column G and column Y that are set up for sorted. So I need to unsort column G. Here we go. Let's turn that back to neutral. There we go. Let's close the shelf. So now if I sort, I can see it's sorted by earnings. These are my resources that have at least a 50% preview rate, which means half of the people who look at the product page decide to look at the preview. These are my best-selling resources. These are all reading resources. I'm looking for outliers, so I see this ChatGPT critical thinking debate slideshow. So you see how I'm doing it? I'm looking for outliers. I'm looking for things that I can work on to improve or new products that I can create. Let's clear this sort to neutral. Let's delete the filter. We can filter by wish list. Maybe I'm interested to see people who have wish listed my resources at least 100 times. And I put that in the minimum number. Wow, not a lot of people are wish listing resources, but I see a lot of bundles here. That makes sense. They're wish listing the bundle because it's expensive. If I scroll to the right here, let's say I only want to look at resources that have sold. So in lifetime earnings, I'm going to say at least $10. So now I'm trying to find resources. These are what people want, but maybe the price is too high. So these are things that I might think about putting on sale or targeting in my email. Let's clear my filters. I have 200 paid resources. Okay, I can filter by units sold. Sometimes the overall earnings can be misleading because you might have really expensive resources and that might hide a lot of people are buying this resource. So if I sort it by lifetime earnings and I only want to see the resources made in the last year. So rather than go by date, I'm actually going to go onto the right-hand side here. Let's close this. I'm going to go to the age of the resource in week. And I'm going to say maximum of 52 weeks old. So these are all the resources that I made in the last 52 weeks. So let's look at units sold besides lifetime earnings. Here's units sold in J. Here's lifetime earnings in M. I'm looking for interesting patterns like, oh, hey, so this ChatGPT bundle sold 50 times. The no prep resource that leads up to it sold 20 times. They start wondering things like maybe if I increase the price of the no prep resource, maybe people would buy the bundle more. I want people to buy my bundles because I want those to get my snowball effect, right? So those are the kinds of ideas I can get. Let's just delete my fields so that I have 200 resources up here because that's how many paid resources I have. If I go back to units sold, I might be curious to see how many of my resources have sold at least 10 times. And I can see up here 55 of my resources have sold 10 times. I have 200 resources, but only a quarter of them are minimum viable products. Well, how many of my resources have sold 100 times? The colors, by the way, always shift because it's based on the filtered data that shows in this table. I'm looking for outliers. Okay, so this is interesting. It's not a bundle. I have two resources that are not bundles that have sold more than 100 times. Let's copy the product name. Let's search on TPT. Oh, it's this resource. I don't think people are buying from TPT because they find it. I think they're going to my WordPress website, SEOT.ca, because I have a bunch of annoying ads and I have the slideshow lesson here. They could show their students this, but they're annoying ads. So then if they click on shop, and they get past these annoying ads, then they can buy this resource. So that's how I think I'm getting traffic for this resource. What are the page views like for that resource? 3,900. Maybe if I work on my TPT blog to get more organic traffic to that page, I'll get more sales of this resource. I'm going to clear this field. I'm back to 200 resources. You might be curious to see who's buying extra licenses. So if I go to extra licenses, additional licenses, And if I type at least one additional license, 14 of my resources, people have bought multiple licenses for. These are licenses that schools want. Someone convinced the principal to buy multiple copies, which is what you're supposed to do, but I'm sure not everyone does. If I sort it by additional licenses based on the green, so I see the green at the top, oops, I have two sorts. I'm sorting by K and I'm sorting by M. Here's column K, here's column M. Let's turn off the sort by going back to gray neutral. There we go. So when I look at these resources, then I start wondering, maybe if I decrease the cost of those additional licenses, maybe more people would be willing to buy those resources rather than just use the resources without a license. Let's clear the search filter. I could filter by the conversion rate. And remember, this is the lifetime conversion rate for the entire product. If I wanted to see resources that had less than a conversion rate of 5%. So the maximum number is 5. Here are my resources. And let's say I wanted to look at resources published within the last year, published this year. So January 1st, 2024. Now, it's important to note these are lifetime values. If we want the conversion rate for a specific time period, like a monthly conversion rate, then we're going to need the extreme version of this tool. So these are my worst converting resources since publishing this year. Well, yeah, none of them are doing very well. Let's actually make it so that resources that have sold at least once, so at least $1. And, oh, that's maximum $1. Let's put minimum $1. There we go. Okay, so now I'm looking, how can I improve the conversion rate? That's not worth doing New Year's. But this one's interesting. Why would you post that? That's an evergreen resource. 133 page views, but it's not leading to sales. If I close this folder by clicking this line, I can see my product preview rate and my sold rate. So why would you post that? 11% of the people who land on that page looked at the product preview, but only 1% are buying. Let's reset. I can see that because I don't have 200 resources in here, I must have another filter. Here's some filters. Let's delete these filters. And now it's going back to 200 resources. Obviously, your number will be different. It won't be 200 paid resources. It might be more, it might be less. We can filter by earnings. We can filter by ratings. We can filter by votes. Now let's look at the extreme solution. Remember, the problem is we need high quality data in order to make the right business decision for our store, so we know what to improve or what to tinker with. The problem with the easy and the epic version of this Google Sheet tool is that it's working with the lifetime data because we only have one product stat CSV and TPT only gives us the lifetime data based on today. The extreme Google Sheet data tool solves that problem, and we'll be able to look and compare monthly product stats, weekly product stats. If you're a whale and you have huge amounts of sales, you could even compare daily product stats if you wanted to. Here's how we can do it. If we have one product stat CSV, we can tell that a product has 800 page views in its lifetime. Then we can use the Epic Google Sheet tool to do some pretty cool analysis. If you have two product stats CSV files, that means you went to your My Product Statistics page and on two different occasions, you clicked and downloaded that product stats CSV file. Then we can use the extreme Google Sheet data tool to do some comparisons. The Google Sheet can calculate the difference between those two product stat files. So if you have a time point A, if point A is January 1st and point B is February 1st, and you subtract those page views, then you can figure out, well, in that month, you had 200 page views, right? Let's say point A was January 1st and point B was January 8th. You can figure out how many page views you have that week. And for those big stores, if you have point A as January 1st and point B as January 2nd, and you compare your product stats, you could figure out how many page views you had that day. So how do we get this extreme Google Sheet tool for free? Well, it's under construction right now. I'm still making it. But when it's done, I will post it for free on a freesellertool.com. I need your help to help our community. A lot of you have left public comments on YouTube, and you've emailed me privately, or you've let me know on one-on-one Zoom meetings, or you've told me in the SEO Teapreneur Pro community, and you've let me know that you like what I'm doing for the TPT Seller community. I love that feedback. It lets me know I'm on the right track. If you're still watching this video right now, You're my kind of TPT seller. You get it. And we need your help to help our community. My goal in life is to make the world a better place. Whether we're talking about student communities or we're talking about literally the world. And sure, I'm talking about the SEOtpreneur YouTube community, but I'm also talking about making the TPT seller community at large a better place. I think the way we do this is through active citizenship and critical thinking. That means participating in the communities that we belong to try to make them better. It doesn't mean we agree. It's through dialogue that we come up with a better understanding of things, and eventually over time, the community gets better. I think sometimes in the TPT seller community, something gets said over and over again until it becomes the truth. I think we have an opportunity together to make the TPT seller community a little bit better. And that helps TPT sellers, and that helps us create content for TPT buyers, which ultimately helps students. Our community needs you. You, the person watching right now. We need leadership. You are the leaders, not me, you. I'm the person on the camera. I'm the front man of the band. I have the microphone, but I'm not the leader. It's you. You lead by example. People don't follow me. They follow you following me. I try to lead by example. Some of my videos walk through with a step-by-step lesson plan. And some of my videos, I'm literally just creating stuff on my store and I'm talking through the process because sometimes things go wrong. $2,000 down. That's part of business. There are ups and downs. When things are down, you try to figure out why it's down. And we learn from our mistakes. The market changes. I'm trying to live by a growth mindset and I'm trying to lead by a growth mindset. Here are 3 ways that you can make TPT better. The first way you can help make TPT better is by following my store on TPT. Hear me out. If you go to TPT search and you type Mike Fuchigami, F-U-C-H-I, there I am, Fuchigami. If you learn something new in this video, please go to the Mike Fuchigami store and click follow me. And it'll say you are now following this seller. If you've ever learned something new in one of my videos, please click follow me. By following the Mike Fuchigami store, you give permission to other TPT sellers to be curious about, hey, who's this Mike Fuchigami guy? What's he talking about? There are lots of TPT sellers, but why are people following him? Remember, people don't follow the leader. People follow other people following the leader. If you like what I'm doing for TPT sellers, if you want to spearhead this movement, then please follow the Mike Fuchigami store because that gives social proof that this movement is important. I love the 12 followers who found me already. You rock. Thank you for being one of the first followers. But imagine this number was 10,000. That's a snowball that will start to keep rolling by itself. That helps give social proof that these ideas about high quality data tools for everyone, these things matter. The second way to help make TPT better is by leaving an honest review on the easy TPT product stats CSV Google Sheet tool posted on TPT. It will be forever free and it will be forever simple. Your reviews give permission to other people to try to tinker around with Google Sheets. Very few TPT sellers have opened Google Sheets before this tool came along. And now there's a bunch of you who are tinkering and it's super hard, but it's the kind of thing that gets easier with time. It's kind of like teaching. When you're a first year teacher, everything is overwhelming. By the time you hit year 5, where you've taught the same subject for a couple of years, it gets easier. I promise you, the Google Sheet tool will get easier as you use it more. Those reviews send social proof to TPT that we need better free data tools. Now, I love the SEOtpreneur YouTube community. A lot of great comments about how you don't understand what I'm talking about because it tells me what to improve on. So thank you. I love Quattro Gibaro constantly challenging the way that I think. In another video, he left a comment that I'm selling the pen, but I'm not closing the sale. So this one's for you. The third way to make TPT better, if you're still with me and you want to help make TPT better, the third way to help out is by getting my growing bundle of TPT seller tips and tricks. It looks like this right now. Now, my business model is still to give away all of my ideas and thoughts about TPT land for free on YouTube. The problem is there are 104 videos on the channel, not including this one. It would take you 1 day, 20 hours, 52 minutes, and 53 seconds to watch all the content. If you did that, you would learn a lot about TPT. I know some of you are watching this and the videos are above your head right now, but I promise you, as you go through TPT land, eventually you'll come back and this video or that video will make more sense. And I know others of you, it's overwhelming because there's so much content. You don't have to watch all the videos. We all go at our own speed. I'm just cranking out content because I'm learning as I create content. But one of the things you'll realize in a business is that you either pay in money or you pay in time. If you have no money, but you have time, then watch the videos on YouTube. On the other hand, if you're like most people where there's never enough time to do everything, but you have a little bit of money, you should get the growing bundle. Here's an example of time versus money. Masterclass number 5 is 1 hour, 14 minutes. Masterclass number 6 is about 2 hours long. If you have 3 hours, you could watch all the ideas in those YouTube videos for free. If you don't have 3 hours, then you could get TPT Seller tip number 2, where I put the most important ideas about how to use data to know what to improve next into a 17-minute video. Why am I charging $21.75 for this? I basically took 3 hours times minimum wage in the US to come up with that number. Why can't I link in the product descriptions to the exact YouTube videos? Because the YouTube videos in the product descriptions contain a link to paid products. And TPT doesn't allow us to link to third-party marketplaces. Do I want you to pay $21.75 for this TPT Seller tip number 2? Absolutely not. I want you to get the bundle. Right now, to kick things off, the growing bundle is only $3. The only people who are hearing this message are the hardcore fans who have been with me from the beginning or just found me and love what I'm doing and you're watching to the end. So this is the special for you. This is as low as I can drop it without getting transaction fees. It's a growing bundle, which means as I create more content, I'm going to put it into the growing bundle. Some of the content will be free. Some of the content will be paid. And basically every resource that I put in there, I'll put in for $1. TPT has a maximum cap of 400 resources in a bundle. Wouldn't it be funny if you got a giant bundle for $3 right now? And I would be thrilled if you did. That's my thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. Hey buddy, what's in it for me? No problem. Chances are you just changed something in your store. And the real question is, did the change you make actually lead to more sales? Well, how can you tell? Here's the solution. Let's say today you downloaded your product stats CSV file. We'll call that A. And you have a resource that makes $400. And let's say in the future, you do some sort of change to your resource and you download that product stats CSV, I'm going to call that point B. And if you wait a little bit of time and you download your product stats CSV a third time, I'm going to call that point C. Well, now we have 3 points in time and 3 product stats CSV files. And we can figure out how things have changed before you change the product and after you change the product. Then we can say things like, well, before I changed it, I made $400, and after I changed it, I made $200. Therefore, the change actually made the product worse. Obviously, there's more to that. We have to divide it by the number of days in the time period. We can actually calculate conversion rate because we know page views and earnings. But this ABC analysis lets us compare conversion rates before and after a change to see if what we're doing is actually making a difference. So you can see this ABC tool in action. It's in this video, 10x Seller Journey, episode number 2. If you watch this video, you know I'm going to give away the ABC tool for free once this channel becomes monetized. For that, we need 1,000 subscribers, which we have. Woohoo! We need to have 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days, so it's a moving target. We have 1,200 hours to go. We get around 600 hours per month. The ABC tool will be available for free for everyone on freesellertool.com, probably around May 11th. But some of you might want early insider access to this tool before it launches live. Right now, this ABC tool is around 60% perfect. You've seen the videos, you know how it works. I'm going to give early insider access to the ABC tool to people who get the growing bundle. In about a week's time, I'll put an early version of the ABC tool onto the Mike Fuchigami TPT store. Once the free version comes out, I'll have to modify or turn off the paid resource on TPT because you can't have free content off the site, but charge for it on the site. Bottom line, if you need that ABC tool sooner than later, Go get the growing bundle. It's $3. It's less than the price of coffee, and think how much it's going to elevate your TPT game. If you learned something new, please follow the Mike Fuchigami store, leave a review on the easy version of the TPT Seller tool, and invest in your TPT business by getting my ultimate bundle. I'm Mike Fuchigami. If you want to learn more about that ABC tool, click this video. YouTube thinks you should watch that video.